Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Communications, Senator Fifield. Can the Minister outline to the Senate the key barriers holding back access to the internet in Australia?
The Minister representing the Minister for Communications, Senator Fifield. Senator Fifield, just resume your seat. Now, when there's silence, we will proceed. We might need to conduct an investigation as to what was in the water today. A number of people seem to have been a little bit excited on both sides. Senator Carr. Senator Carr. Senator Fifield.
Thank you, Mr President. The question was the key barriers to holding back access to the internet in Australia, and I can give the answer in 2 words. Senator Conroy. And Mr President, if we were to think for a moment that Senator Conroy had decided to stop being an impediment to good policy, that we would have been disabused of that in the communications estimates hearing last week. We're all aware of Senator Conroy's contribution in the defence estimates, but he got limbered up before that in communications estimates, where he accused prominent, distinguished Australian Dr Ziggy Swatowski of being a liar. Shame, Senator Conroy, shame. But, Mr President, the barriers over the last few years to internet access, Senator Conroy has been amongst the most prominent. There was his handling of the NBN network,
Order.
His inability to face the truth.
Senator Conroy. Senator Conroy.
Squandering billions of dollars. We want to keep him there.
Senator Fifield.
Thank you, Mr President. Senator Conroy has, we know, mishandled the NBN. He's been incapable of facing the truth, and what that means is that this government didn't just inherit a financial mess, but a company that failed to make inroads in improving broadband services in Australia. And the NBN hasn't just failed in the rollout of fibre, with less than 3% of premises connected after 6 years of Labor. There's also the interim satellite scheme, where $351 million has been spent delivering dial-up speeds. Labor's handling of the NBN, Mr President, is being revealed progressively as a scandal. A financial scandal, we know, because of the billions wasted, and a political scandal because of the misrepresentation of those opposite before the last election. And as the various reviews and audits come out, more will be revealed. But, Mr President, what is clear is that the NBN scandal under Senator Conroy dwarfs the likes of the State Bank debacle in Victoria, the South Australian Bank, and
Order.
Senator Conroy.
Time has expired. Time's expired. Resume your seat. Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr President. I have a supplementary.
Just wait a minute, Senator Mackenzie. On both sides, Senator Mackenzie is entitled to be heard in silence. Or Senator McDonald, I'm waiting to give Senator Mackenzie the call. Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr President. To supplementary, can the Minister inform the Senate how affordability affects households' access to broadband?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. Nothing about Labor's NBN was more scandalous than the way that the effect that it ignored on high prices that would be paid by poorer Australians. Statistics released by the ABS last week confirmed that affordability is the biggest single barrier to broadband access in the home. The ABS found that households in the poorest income quartile were more than 10 times less likely to have access to the internet at home than those in the wealthiest quartile. And the ABS also found that the top income bracket, those in that, were more likely to access a smartphone or a tablet at home as well. This was true of 42% of total households in the top income bracket compared to 24% in the bottom bracket. Labor's NBN treated the interests of the least well-off households with contempt. Mr President, we know from the NBN strategic report released in December that if the NBN was completed according to Labor's specifications, it would have led to an increase of...
Time's expired, Senator Fifield. Senator Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr President, and thank you, Minister, for a comprehensive answer. Can the minister outline to the Senate the consequences for Australian families of failing to bring the cost of the NBN under control?
The Minister.
Mr President, if we fail to fix Labor's mess, which forecasts that families would be hit with an increase of up to 80% in the cost of their monthly broadband bill, we would be remiss indeed. For a typical household, that would be a rise of $43. And that was Labor's broadband policy, a $43 per month increase in prices, taking broadband further out of the reach of the least affluent Australians. And that's still the Labor Party's broadband policy, even after the true cost of the policy was laid out for everyone to see by an independent report. Senator Conroy still wants to make it even more expensive for the least well-off to participate in the digital economy. In contrast, affordability continues to be a key area of concern in terms of broadband policy for this government. By using a multi-technology mix, we will get the NBN finished 4 years sooner and at $32 billion less cost. But, Mr President, those opposite will be held accountable for the NBN today, at the next election and for the years to come.
For answering the question.